That enough? Nah. That's enough of that. Should I keep going? Got Steely Dan on my mind because for a bunch of reasons. Maybe not a bunch, but a few. And that is, of course, Josie, a fantastic arrangement that Pete Hutlinger put together many years ago. I kind of modified it a little bit and tried to make it my own. That's kind of an important thing. That's sort of a theme we have at camp. Is take songs and make them your own. We heard a great versions of songs that sometimes are really slow ballads and got jazzed up. Like even Happy Birthday, when we sang Happy Birthday to my sister at camp, it was a snappy version thanks to Lynn and the other fabulous campers that were there. It is Friday, May 8th. Yeah. Oh, it's been a busy couple of weeks. Of course, the last 2 weekends I had camps with around 16, 18 people at each one, and fabulous staff of at the first camp we had our usual 5 teachers, me, Dave Nachmanoff, Doug Young, Mike Mullins, and Jim Bruno. And the second week, once we had to book a second week, I had to branch out a little bit because a couple of them could not make it. And I gotta say, we hit the jackpot with Carol McComb, who's a local legend here in Northern California. Great vocal teacher, guitar teacher, arranger, anyway. And Max Rich. Now, many of you should remember Max from the early days of TG when we had totally electric guitars as a sister site. Max must have been 300 lessons or more for us there, and then occasional acoustic ones, sometimes on the same songs. So we anyway pressed Max into service, and Max kind of moved away from the LA electric guitar scene and settled in Montana, where he really retook up his passions, which were classical guitar and theory. And so many of my friends and students also take lessons from him, working on that stuff. And so Max was there doing some classical guitar stuff that was just dynamite. And I guess while I'm mentioning the staff, I got to bring in 2 other people that have really helped make my job easier. And that is Jeff Cohen and Victor. Now, many of you know them from videos that they've done on other stuff, but those 2 guys also really help make camp a blast. And I'll give you a rundown of kind of what we do. The normal daily routine is first day, we get there in the evening, check in, have dinner, and have a little evening show, generally or an evening session, and usually the teachers will play first and kind of introduce what they do, and then it would be open mic night for anybody that wanted to play. The second morning, or really the first full morning, these camps in the spring have just 2 full days, Friday and Saturday. Start with a 9 o'clock class that one of us will do with the whole group. I think this time I did the first 2 one weekend, had Max do one the next weekend. And then in the next 2 hours, 10 o'clock to 12, we break people up into 3 groups of 5 to 6 people each. And they go spend 40-minute segments. We call these the breakout sessions, the 40-minute segments with 3 different teachers, and do that both days. So the mornings that's the routine. The afternoon we had Carol do especially the second week, Carol did a vocal harmony class. The first week Dave did songwriting classes. So Carol and Dave both work on songwriting. And then private lessons. So I had individual lessons with everybody that came there. Everybody got at least one lesson. And what we did the second weekend was made them half-hour lessons instead of shorter and maybe having two. So 2 o'clock to 6 o'clock, one-on-one lesson time. And I think many of the campers got one lesson in with each of the 5 teachers that were there. So and a lot of them left pretty overwhelmed with new stuff to work on. I heard one comment was, "God, I can't believe it's over. We should do this for another day. But I also want to get home and work on all the stuff that I have to do." So, anyway, the other we do another cool thing the second night, Friday night for the 2 spring ones. And we'll do this in the fall again too, because this turned out to be a big hit. Song circle. Instead of getting up on stage and playing something, people sit in a circle, and we have and goes around the circle. Everybody plays a song if they want to. Nobody has to. A few people kind of opted out, and that's totally okay. But we had time to go around the circle twice. Everybody got to play 2 songs that night instead of one song up on stage with the PA system and the lights and stuff like that. So and then the last night we do general open mic where everybody gets up and plays, especially in groups or collaborations with things they've put together in just the last 48 hours or even less, and that is really fun too. So that's our spring camp routine. Next spring will probably be the last Thursday. No, it'll probably be April 22nd, I'm guessing, but I'm not sure. And I'm not sure we're going to have 2. On one hand, this was kind of a special situation where we just had so many people that wanted to come in the spring. We do have the fall camp coming up, and it is Monday through Friday, September 14th to the 18th. Check in Monday night, 3 full days for that one, and then check out on Friday. So if you're thinking of joining us, that information is up at the IGC website, International Guitar Camp, and I'll make sure there's a link to it in there. Speaking of Max, one of the one set of lessons that Max did for us many years ago was a bunch of Steely Dan songs, cycling back to what I was just playing there, and those are all in one pack. I think there's 6 of them, and then and we also have an instrumental version of "Do It Again" that Bob McAlpine put together. So really encourage you to check out the Steely Dan pack that showcases 2 phenomenal players and teachers, Max Rich and Bob McAlpine, who put Steely Dan stuff together. Bob, in case many of you don't know, it's been a while. We really haven't been in touch with Bob's too much since COVID, and we were really lucky to get him to do some lessons in COVID because he lives in Toronto, and COVID made his main gigs shut down. He was in 2. He probably still is. Haven't talked to him in a year or 2. He was in 2 tribute bands, being the guitar player for a Steely Dan band and a Chicago band. So he was playing Terry Kath parts and parts from Steely Dan songs, leads from Steely Dan tunes that are just dynamite. So, and he was also one of the first call musicians for Broadway shows if they were coming through, or any big time productions that were coming through Toronto. So we were very fortunate to be able to talk him into doing some lessons, and while he was unable to be out in public with everybody else kind of quarantined. So anyway, encourage you to check out the Bob McAlpine pack as well. I think we have 9 tunes of his. Their arrangements. There's some Stevie Wonder tune. I think it was only one of some of these people I'm thinking. He did Come Together, John Lennon, Living for the City. Anyway, the Bob McAlpine pack is really cool. Arrangements that are instrumental solo arrangements, chord solos, as we are known to refer to them, and generally more accessible than some of the ones I put together. Sounds easy so far, right? Okay, not too bad. Bring in the keyboard part. Vocal part. Little keyboard background. Etc., etc. Okay, I'm wandering off into, but some of my arrangements, I have to admit, are a little difficult. Sometimes I try to make them more accessible, and frequently I fail. But that doesn't make them impossible. It just means you got to work hard if you want to try some of them. But I'm getting off topic. Bobs are really accessible if you have a little bit of experience with finger picking and stuff. So, let's see. I think that's mostly what I wanted to talk about. New lesson. Nesh put together Roger Whittaker, again, somebody who was not really well known here in the United States, but a couple really cool tunes. The one that appeared this week is called New World in the Morning, and really nice tune with a lot of cool techniques that Nesh has pointed out in there. So I want to encourage you to take a look at that. I had a couple tunes in good shape for camp, and I didn't play them all. I frequently, when I'm playing up on stage, I'm only going to play 5 or 6 songs total over the 3 or 4 days, because people have everybody wants to get up there and play and listen to some of the other people. So, but I try to make sure I resurrect some tunes. I think a few months ago I played a little bit of. I shouldn't run through this whole thing now, right? Okay, you heard that recently, but a couple others that I did get back in I would say nearly performable shape were really fun to work on. Some John Renbourn tunes, Josie that I played there a little bit of. So I guess my encouraging words about this are every once in a while you should, maybe once a month, you should do a little check out all the songs, take a look at the list of songs you played. I have a list it's pretty long actually, and every once in a while I got it on my computer, and every once in a while I look at it and say, oh man, there's one I haven't played in years. It's totally gone. What was it? Oh, some are my originals that have fallen in that category. But it's really good to keep a log of what kind of shape some of your tunes might be in. And one of my favorite tunes that I do have a lesson on is this Jerry Reed tune called Bluesland, and sometimes I don't play it for a couple months, and then I forget like 1 or 2 little parts, but I'm going to play it for you anyway and see how much I can remember now. Something like that. I always forget the ending. Wait a minute. Oh, that's because it's this. No. What's cool about that tune is it has a lot of stuff that doesn't happen in other songs. Really quick hammer-ons, pull-offs. Especially in the beginning, right? Another one. One more coming up that I didn't get very well at any time. That's what it should have sounded like. All three of the times I played that in there, it never came out that clean. Okay, there you have it. I am traveling again next week. We are visiting some old friends that we don't see very often. And, well, actually, we're kind of missing them, but we're staying in their house. So I will probably not be back next week, but by what are we talking about? The third week of May, things will be back to normal. It must be about the 22nd or something. Okay, so I will see you in 2 weeks and have more news, and I hope everybody's having a good time playing tunes.